Good morning, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. I'm saying that a lot right now because, well, one, I probably screwed up my intro, but two, I'm still recovering. And if you don't know what I'm recovering from, then maybe you've never been to one of my live streams. I am recovering from a 30-hour marathon stream where on Friday, this is Monday, by the way, the 19th of May. On Friday, the 16th of May, I think, I started streaming at 11 a.m. and I stayed live without sleeping, with no naps, no anything like that. A 5-minute break to go rinse off in the shower to wake up in the morning on Saturday. But I streamed from 11 a.m. Friday till 5 p.m. Saturday for a total of 30 hours. 30 plus hours, I would say, because, after you hit the 30-hour mark, it took us a couple minutes to rate off. So it was like 30 hours and maybe a few minutes in change. But yes, me, the old man, I did it. Now, like I said, if you haven't been following my channel or listening to the podcast or part of the live streams or part of the community, which you should be, FYI, if you've ever catch these podcast episodes randomly, which I don't know how you would. But anyways, I made a deal with what we now call the devil. The devil is also called the chat. Yes, the community members. I made a deal back in April that when the community would reach a 30 days in a row, 30 streams in a row, I should say, of hitting 100 plus subs in every single stream, that I would do a 30-hour marathon stream with no nothing, no breaks, no nothing like that at all. But I didn't think they actually would do it. They actually ended up going 32 streams in a row. Yeah, above and beyond the Call of Duty, I guess you can say. So with that being said, I included a massive giveaway, and this past Friday was when it all happened, and I just wanted to talk about it really quick because I've done 24-hour streams before. I don't know how many I've done. I want to say close to 10 in my last few years. I used to do them once a month for a little while. It just, felt like it was a fun event to look forward to, something to work towards, all that kind of stuff. And it's also always been, I think I've talked about this on another podcast way back when, but it's always been a mental battle to do 24-hour streams because when you really look at it, to stream for that long, to talk for that long, to try and be creative, to try and organize your schedule where everyone is entertained, where the point that they'll, want to keep the stream up for that long, or they'll just want to come back, for example, a few times if they can't be there the whole time type thing, which is absolutely insane if you are there the whole time, which I will talk about shortly. But it's tough. It's very, very tough. So when I made this deal, I made this bet, I made this challenge, this objective to hit 30 streams in a row, and I would do 30 hours, and they did it. I was like, all right, you know what? I'll be fine. Because whenever I've done 24-hour streams, I know that in the middle of the night, near the morning time, I want to say the 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. chunk of time is always the most difficult for me, or has been. But I always started my streams at about 6 o'clock the Friday night and streamed until 6 or 7 the following day because they're 24 hours. Well, this time, I feel like I planned it the wrong way. Starting at 11 a.m. on a Friday and finishing at 5 really left me quite in a difficult position to keep a regular sleep time for Saturday. So I streamed for 30 hours, and I'll talk about what happened, but the end of the stream, I ended stream, I ate dinner, and I want to say like 6:30, 7 o'clock, being on the couch, I fell asleep for a couple hours. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to go to bed around like 9 and then wake up at a normal time and still be tired, but survive regardless. I went to bed at 7 and I woke up on the couch, and then I ended up climbing upstairs and going to bed. But then I woke up at like 6:30 the next day, tired yesterday, but luckily I'm feeling okay today. So if there's anything that I could recommend is start your stream and end your stream when you would normally go to bed the next day, because you're going to need it. And that way you don't screw up your whole schedule. So anyways, we started streaming. Friday, 11 a.m. Did a whole bunch of fun stuff. The community went crazy. I had incentives. I would suggest to have incentives and for subs and bits, even donos if you want, based off of how your community is, just for the sole fact that it keeps people entertained. It has something to, it's something for people to work towards, the community to work towards, to get some rewards, such as I had things from, bad things like eating crickets and waxing my legs, which we did all of those things. And even a stretch goal of dyeing my hair. Luckily, we didn't hit that because I really didn't want to dye my hair. But giveaways for some money or some merch or whatever you want, right? So I think it's a good idea because it also helps the streamer and it helps me create, content and create entertainment and not having to game for 24, 30 hours in a row because it just got too much. There is a time where you start gaming, and for me, anyways, that I was like, I need to take a break from being on a video game. I want to just maybe chat with people and all that kind of stuff. But you really have to choose when you want to do that. There are times during the stream that it will be very, very quiet. People are sleeping, people are going to bed, people are going to shower. There were a few people that actually did not go to bed and stayed up with me the entire time. Absolutely crazy. But it's still difficult to continuously chat and continuously game for 30 hours in a row. So, with that being said, when we hit achievements or hit these incentives to do this giveaway and do this and do that and all these activities, well, it was nice that for a good chunk of time, I had all these things to do and catch up on hitting all these goals. Now, what happened in my stream was probably a little bit different than what usually happens because usually subs and all that come in over a period of time. You're live for 24 hours, you're live for 30 hours. It's a long time. It's not always going to be subs and subs. I mean, there was a stint of a few hours going by with absolutely nothing, no channel point redemptions, no points, no subs, no bits, no nothing. So that's going to happen. But what happened for me was this wonderful new feature called a treasure train on Twitch occurred not only when we started stream, but about 9 hours in, or something like that, 8 hours in or something like that. Because I remember it was about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, the Friday, where we had a treasure train and chat was trying to break the all-time record, which is 21. They got to level 18, which is an insane amount of support. But what did that mean for me? That was an insane amount of subs in a very short period of time. So I had a spin wheel that I spun every 25 subs. I had sub incentives at every 111 subs, 222, 333. So we went from 250 subs all the way to 580 in a matter of 27 minutes or something. So I had then had to spin the wheel like 12 times or 13 times it was, do all those things. Then we had to do all the point giveaways we usually do on a normal basis and all these things. So there was a lot to do. What I think I screwed up was I did everything except a few items right then and right there for the next couple hours. I think I did that because of fear of people not being able to see the waxing of my thighs or the eating of a cricket or all these things, right? I think if I would have just said, tomorrow we're going to do this, this, and this at roughly these times and these times, I think that would have saved me a lot because for those, I think I got tired after really pumping out these insane fun moments for 2 hours after that hype train, only to then have not a whole lot in terms of aside from gaming and chatting content because there just wasn't anything needing to be done. We had caught up on everything. So I think the next time I'll change how I do that. But anyways, that's what happened to us. And then the community went more and more and more. People start waking up, and that's the second win around, I say 9 a.m. The second win came in around 9 a.m. where you wake up, people are waking up. There's people from different countries, so the time zones kind of help because in the early hours, say 4 or 5 a.m., people out in the UK, which are 6 hours, above that, ahead of you. That's what I meant. They'll be waking up early. And then around the 9 a.m., 10 a.m., people in your own time zone will wake up and, catch up, I guess. So that helps a lot. But at the end of the day, it went really well. I was very happy with how it turned out. Met a lot of new friends. You get a lot of raids from different people because you're live. I had someone say like, "Oh, I can finally raid off to you," which was kind of cool because I'm never live when they're live. So that was really, really awesome. Met a lot of different people, had a lot of new followers, and a lot of new people joined the community. So that's really fun for us because you always hope that they come back and whatever they saw during the marathon stream, you hope that it was enough for them to join the Discord or come back and say like, oh yeah, like I really, 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 really would love to come back and hang out again, right? So with that being said, I'm not sure I would do it again. I know it's kind of weird. Everything went really well, but it's such a destroyer of your routine and a destroyer of a full weekend and a few days. Is it worth it for the stream? I say yes. Is it worth it for my body and everything else? I may say no because yeah, it's just tough. It's just tough because when you really look at it, my Friday was taken. My Saturday was taken. Yesterday, I was very tired. Today, I'm still tired. I actually canceled my stream yesterday, last night on a Sunday, which we usually love our Sunday scary games. But I'm doing that tonight on a Monday. So it feels off. Everything's different. This weekend feels even a little bit more different because today is actually a long weekend. So it's a holiday here where I live. So everything is closed. So I'm not going to the gym like I usually would and do all these things. So the routine is a little bit off. But I think at the end of the day that if you're doing something and you enjoy it, then it's worth it. I just don't know if 30 hours is worth it. Maybe 24. Because at 24 hours, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, oh shit, this is great. I'd be ready to be done. I'm like, that was easy. But then the last 6 hours were like, oh my goodness. Anyways, it was fun. The community had a lot of fun. They would probably tell me to do it again. Actually, I think they said like the next day, they're like, all right, another 30 hours starting right now. They're absolutely crazy. So, anyways, it was a lot of fun. My thighs are really soft now and they're waxed, and my chair smells a lot. I've had way too much pizza over the last week. I need to go for a run, but I don't feel like it because I'm tired. Ugh, the problems of a streamer. On that note, thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it, and we'll catch you next time. Cheers.